This is Joy News Prime Live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV is 125. In the next 60 minutes here, battle lines are drawn in Parliament as Defence Minister attempts to convince NDC minority members to back government's decision to deploy Ghanaian troops as part of ECOWAS military intervention in Niger.
The entire legality of anything that will happen must be of concern to all of us as lawmakers, and at the end of the day, it's about our national interest.
That's anything to go by.
Article 73 and Article 40 is very clear.
We're bringing you exclusive details from this closed-door meeting briefing, and then also prepare to pay more for the meat you buy, or better still, become a vegetarian, because the political crisis in Niger is beginning to affect the cost of cows as ECOWAS coup sanctions continue to bite hard.
I think they've closed some of the borders that are close to Niger,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
So because of that, they don't have the chance to come in to Ghana. So
meanwhile, onion traders in Ghana lose close to 40 million cedis as trucks cutting their onions are locked up in Niger.
The cars block over there, it affected us more. So as now, we don't know what we are going to do.
We have more on that. Also, Kingmakers at Manso, Asarekrom name and shame Pakyi #1 chief for the surge in illegal mining activities. They're accusing him of selling farmlands for the illegal mining. Meanwhile, the Asante Hene goes hard on his chiefs as he destools another chief in less than a week. Many thanks for staying with us. We're digging now in our very first story. The Defence Minister, Dominic Netiwo, has today been on a charm offensive in a desperate move to get opposition members of Parliament to back government's decision to deploy Ghanaian troops as part of the ECOWAS military intervention in Niger. Joy News is learning the battle lines were finally or firmly drawn in that closed-door security briefing, with minority MPs rejecting any commitment to deploy Ghanaian troops. They had demanded that the president seeks explicit authorization from Parliament before sending Ghanaian troops. Today, we have confirmation that ECOWAS is proceeding with its plan to get troops ready for deployment in Niger, where a coup d'etat had toppled the democratically elected government of Mohamed Bazoum. In fact, Accra will be hosting the Deputy Chiefs of Defence. We'll be talking about that shortly. But my colleague on the International Affairs Desk, Blessed Sugain, host of The Pulse, joins us in studio. He's been covering that meeting and following all this for us. Blessed, thank you so much for joining us. So let's talk about today's meeting. It looks like it started all the way at 9, and how did it end?
And the basis for that is that some MPs, including the ranking on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Kujetua Blackwell, were not happy about how the president continues to engage ECOWAS, leaving the MPs who are representatives of the people. So this was the basis for which a delegation was sent to engage the MPs. Now, this was done in a unique manner because we had the Committee on Defense and Interior joining together with the Foreign Affairs Committee to form sort of a joint committee that would then receive the delegation, and the delegation comprised the representative of the Foreign Affairs Minister, the Deputy Amprechum represented the Foreign Affairs Minister. We also had the Defense Minister, Dominic Netiwo, who was present, and then the National Security Minister, Honorable Albert Kanapa, was also in that meeting. About 3 hours of engagement, heated debate at some point between the MPs, and it is leading us to where we are now about the constitutional provision and the controversies surrounding it.
I know there was some oath of secrecy of a sort in terms of the outcome of that meeting, but you managed to get something from there.
They're describing that as a gentleman's agreement, obviously because of this whole debate that has come up. Now, per Article 40 of our Constitution, the timelines and the modalities in engaging, sub-regional bodies and the United Nations is spelled out clearly. But there's a controversy about Article 40C and 40D. Whilst the minority side is going with the stipulations in 40C, which requires that we respect...
And 40C, you're talking about the Constitution of
the Constitution,
Ghana.
Yes, the 1992 Constitution. 40C talks about the fact that, yes, we need to respect international obligations, but we must do that by respecting,
UN
international...
Charter, ECOWAS...
precisely, and all the treaty through a peaceful means. That's the stress on which the minority is holding their thoughts. Then you have the majority side saying, if you go to D, the president has no option to opt out of what it is that the sub-regional body ECOWAS has decided. Because if you read D, the word says adhere. So the country would have to adhere to whatever decisions and international obligations that ECOWAS, the United Nations, and the African Union, decide on what the political situation and the resolution should be. So from the position of the majority, the president is helpless. He must go in and support.
But the same UN Charter also mentions that it's supposed to be subject to our laws as a country.
So that is why we're having this meeting. And of course, obviously, if there'll be a decision, there'll be a need for parliamentary ratification, which would then bring us back to the MPs. So it's good that they're having this meeting, but it was a heated debate. I, eavesdropped a bit, the conversation between the likes of Honorable Patrick Boama and also Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, who were exchanging words over what the interpretation of Article 40 actually means. And I caught up with Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa in spite of that agreement that they would not comment. I sought to get his thoughts
before we get
on
that,
the constitutional
keep us a bit more in suspense, because we know that the defense minister earlier gave us a reason why this ought to happen. Maybe we should listen to that quickly, then we can get your interaction.
ECOWAS has given the junta a one-week ultimatum to hand over or face severe consequences, including the use of force. After the 1 week, we will seek the direction of the presidents exactly what they will do. But I can say that the member states are ready. If it means using force, the member states will be ready to do that. As I said, we're waiting for the direction from the commander-in-chiefs of the various armed forces across the globe. And if the decision is to use force, the armed forces of every country will contribute troops to use that force.
Well, so now take us into your interaction.
So Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa walked out of that meeting. In fact, I tried engaging the defense minister, who then, granted this interview. I recall when the UK's foreign secretary was in Accra, he, of course, granted an interview to me, indicating that they are ready and they'll deploy at any time. But today,
the position is different.
He doesn't want to comment on any other matter apart from the engagement with the MPs. So Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa was the only one to comment, and he wouldn't talk about whether or not the deployment will be done, because he terms it as national security matters, very sensitive. But on the issue of the constitutional provisions, he believes that he sides with his colleagues who feel that there's a constitutional restraint on the president and that the stipulations are clear. So we can listen to Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa.
We have decided that we will not disclose the content of the discussions and the outcome of the meeting. So I will just say that it's been a good meeting for now.
From my monitoring, I see that Article 40 has come up. Legal issues and concerns, as of course your other ranking on this other side, the chairperson of the committee has been raising. Is Article 40 of concern to you as well as the minority?
The entire legality of anything that will happen must be of concern to all of us as lawmakers, and at the end of the day, it's about our national interest.
That's anything to go by.
Article 73 and Article 40 is very clear.
Yes.
Our national interest must be at the center of any decision. Our national interest, and don't forget, Article 40C encourages peaceful resolutions of matters.
But if you go to D, we are to adhere with whatever decision the sub-regional body ECOWAS.
So as I've told you, the matters are very sensitive and delicate, and that's why.
But I'm talking about law, because that I heard that come up on the committee. That this is a matter of law. It will come up strongly at you as the matter.
As you do know, consultations are going to continue on this matter. This is a very sensitive matter, and since we have a collective agreement that we will not divulge the details at this point, I think that we should go with that. But as time progresses, I'm sure that we are going to have...
How will you diffuse the legal argument? This is not about what transpired, but I know...
Well, you tried. You definitely
You wouldn't make any further comments on that.
Since the meeting ended inconclusively today, is there another meeting?
Yeah, so we understand that there will be further engagement. In fact, that's explaining why we're seeing the move by the Ghana Armed Forces also to try and engage the regional body ECOWAS, which we'll get to shortly. Also present at the meeting today was the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare. Okay. We're not sure the exact reasons for which he appeared before the committee, but if you would throw any guess around, it might also come up, knowing that the Interior Minister was also present in this meeting that we're talking about. So it will be a joint and a coordinated effort. And dovetailing into that meeting.
We know that they are military police as well.
I was just about to talk about it, and the fact that there's going to be a meeting also between the military chiefs, which will be hosted here in Accra. So we can get to that.
So it's a two-day meeting?
A two-day meeting which is happening because, ECOWAS says they are activating the ECOWAS standby force, which means that Ghana has to contribute troops. The other countries would have to do the same. We've got that confirmation from the likes of Cote d'Ivoire. I think other surrounding countries have also committed to that. President Akufo-Addo, we understand, is also a champion. That's the word, of course, ECOWAS is indicating to us that he is also for the military action. So the meeting is happening from Thursday to Friday, and this will be solely done by the military chiefs. And that's why the meeting is being held at the Ghana Armed Forces headquarters at Bema. Okay. So that's where the meeting will happen. 2 days meeting just to advance on the activation of the ECOWAS force. Okay. So we'll be looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. I know you've been interacting with security chiefs on this, experts on the fact that we don't have a standby force. It's now like we are now trying to form...
of course, I eavesdrop at this point on the conversation amongst the delegation that came before the engagement with the committee, and it appears that ECOWAS missed the opportunity at a time when they were forming a similar arrangement under the Accra Initiative. Okay. They decided to fight extremism and left out the issue of, so it will definitely come up again.
I think there should be a full show on this, posted by Blessed. Thank you so much, Blessed, for joining us with all the details. But still on Niger, onion traders in Ghana have lost close to 40 million cedis as trucks carting their onions are locked up in Niger. Over 100 trucks loaded with onions cannot move in the border town between Benin and Niger following the border closure. My colleague Nanaya Ojima has more.
The Kwaraso Onion Market is the biggest in the Ashanti region. At least 30 trucks, each carting about 330 bags of onions, are offloaded at the beginning of every week. On a typical day at the market, 5 trucks are offloading onions at the market. Truck driver Mohammed Salisu was stranded carting onions on the border for a week. He says it took intervention of Ghana's embassy to the landlocked country to get access for the trucks bound for Ghana.
Obio 11, 10, Missouri and Okore, 1 week.
Some trucks have been on the border for 10 to 12 days. I stayed there for just a week.
Masajai. As Obiano, just a Yene, your friend is Ghana ambassador. We had
to call the Ghana ambassador's office, who sent a delegation to the border. The ambassador also came the following day to resolve the issue.
Mumuni Abdullahi, who was bound for Niger, had to divert his route to Nigeria to get onions after being stranded at the Benin borders for days.
We spent days on the border, so we had to change our destination to Nigeria to get some onions.
Video footage available to Joy News shows hundreds of trucks carting onions stranded at the border. The content of the trucks are already rotten away. Some of the trucks are offloading the onions for local traders. About 100 trucks expected to deliver onions to the Kwaraso market are locked up in Niger for many days. Each truck is transporting at least 300 bags of onions at the cost of 1,500 cedis each. An estimated 45 million cedis worth of onions remain locked up at the border. For fear of terrorist activities at the Niger-Burkina Faso borders, the route is not an option for the truck drivers. Mohammed Amidou, early morning, received 350 bags of onions he had imported. After opening the sacks, most of them were rotten, forcing him to sell the little he could salvage for 200 cedis per bag instead of 1,500 cedis.
We can't do anything. We look up to God now. I will have to search for a loan to help me get back into business. If I don't get a loan, we thank God.
Many importers at the onion market count their loss. Mumuni Alabila has 2 trucks of onions locked up in Niger. It is unclear when these trucks will get to cross the border. He wants the ECOWAS to find a solution to the present situation.
We the onion trailers, we are get a bank loan and doing our business. When the cars block over there, it affected us more. So as now we don't know what we are going to do. We are appealing the government to do what he will do and get our goods to come. Some of our goods is fall over there. About 2 years now. So when we are here, some of the traders are here now. Some of us, they are in hospital. 2 of my brothers, they are in hospital because of their money collapsed over there.
The onion retailers who have purchased the bags offloaded in the morning dip their hands through the onions poured on the ground in search for those in best shape. They find it difficult retrieving the good ones.
They are all rotten. We have paid them already. We pay for the onions before we get the opportunity to open the sacks. So we are incurring losses.
School fees
I bought 5 sacks and they are all rotten. If this continues like this, how do we take care of our children?
According to the traders, the locally cultivated onions are least preferred by consumers for diverse reasons. Some have nicknamed it Sobolo due to the red color. Here are other reasons some consumers shy away from the local variety.
It was very difficult to sell the local onions. The customers kept complaining.
Until this situation is curtailed, probably there's time to be shortage of onions on the market. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Well, so the situation has already resulted in the high cost of onions on the market, but some butchers are warning the cost of meat will be next. Well, you ought to prepare to pay more for it. Well, yesterday, my colleague Evans Mensa went to the market and interacted. That's a Malata market. Here's his interaction with some meat sellers.
Nowadays, the market is not moving like how we want it to. Because of, especially this rainy season, it affects our market so much. Sales is not all that good because of the rainy
season. Yeah, I'm interested. How does the rainy season affect? Because you are talking about cow and goats and sheep and all that. How does it affect it?
Yeah, normally when it comes to rainy season like this, getting the animals, sometimes you move into the bush to go and get the animals. So the cars that will move to the bush to bring out the animals doesn't want to go, because when they go and what?
They get stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes we find it difficult getting the animals during what? Rainy season.
But it also means that they are charging you more for transport.
Yes,
to
definitely.
The animals
Yeah.
to you at the market.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. And during rainy season like this, especially when the market is so muddy, the grounds is so muddy, people don't like to what? Come and what? Purchase their items. So this bring slow pace of what?
The sales of the food items.
Yeah.
But are you also having to import some of the animals from other countries?
Yes, definitely. Most of our animals normally come from our neighboring countries.
Most of the animals?
Yes.
So
Ghana.
Most of the ones I see here,
look,
you import it?
The cow, goat, sheep, most of them are what? Coming from our neighboring countries like Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, and Niger. This is where we
Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, and Niger.
Yes.
As we speak right now, Niger is on fire with the coup. Burkina Faso has a coup.
Yes.
Mali has a coup.
Yeah.
How is that affecting the price and your ability to get it?
Yes. So far, for the ones in Burkina Faso and especially Togo, for instance, for them, deers are coming.
Okay.
But the ones in Niger and Mali are not coming like first because of the coup.
Okay, because of the coup.
Yes.
Niger is not coming. What about Mali? Mali too is having a challenge with the coup. Is that one too coming?
And you know, I think they've closed some of the borders that are close to Niger.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So because of that, they don't have the chance to come in to Ghana.
So what does that mean for price? If I want to buy it now, is it going to cost me more?
No, it will not cost you more. We are still selling the price that we are selling.
How long has the price remained the same? How long?
For almost getting to 6 months now.
Well, for those of you who are considering becoming vegetarians or so, we'll take a look at it after the break here on Joy News Prime. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. This is Joy News Prime live on the Joy News channel, also on DSTV channel 421. Go TV is 125. We're on myjoyonline.com. On to some other stories now. Kingmakers of the Akonat royal family of Manso in the Ashanti region say they are unhappy with their chief for allowing a surge in illegal mining activities in the area. They accuse the chief of selling farmlands for galamsey activities. Sources of water for domestic and farming activities have been heavily polluted by these activities. Nana Boachi Dankwayi has more in this report.
Lands for food crops have been excavated for gold mining at Pakyi number 1 in the Manso West district. Vast farmlands at Manso, Asarekrom, Antwakrom, Kenyago, Banko, Pakyi number 1 and Ensiana are left with huge gullies, posing danger to farmers in the enclave, especially when it rains. Farmers have to walk cautiously in and out of their farms to stay safe from pits left uncovered by illegal mining activities at their farm gates. On sighting our team, these illegal miners, including Chinese, took their heels, leaving behind their heavy machinery. The Ghana Cocoa Board projects its annual cocoa output to rise to 1.6 million tons by 2026. But this is threatened by the activities of illegal miners. Mining equipment are visible at most sites visited at Pakyi number 1. A site close by the road at Manso Asarekrom has 2 excavators digging for gold. The lands belong to natives of Pakyi number 1. The head of a Kwana clan, Nana Kwesi, blames the chief of Pakyi number 1 for the wanton destruction of farms, lands and water bodies.
Yes, I say what's a chroma crown, says a ready, as I say, Hassan, a Kaba Hassan, dear. Kojopukwama, Garuseno, China for, and Eddie.
The Chinese are destroying our land. They use mercury on the land, which we learn is poisonous. Our crops could be contaminated, including fish in the rivers around. Otumfo, we need your help.
The Nkoswohini of Pakyi number 1, Nana Kofi Amwakohini III, is seeking the intervention of the Asantehini to curb the menace.
Where they are mining is close to town. They have destroyed all the cocoa farms. Otumfo, kindly intervene because I get angry when people tarnish your image.
Pakyi number 1 chief Nana Poku has failed to respond to the accusations. Meanwhile, the youth of Pakyi number 1 are planning to demonstrate against the chief if nothing is done about the illegal mining activities. Reporting for Joe News, Nana Boachi Dankwayadom, Kumasi.
Still in the Ashanti region, the Asantehene Otumfo say to the second has destooled the chief of ADUMOA in the Fija Kwabre district of the Ashanti region. In Konsonghin, Nana Osei Tire II over a myriad of controversies, including multiple land-related disputes with other chiefs. He's also been accused of violating some customary procedures. This brings to 2 the number of destoolements within the past week by the Asantehene Otumfo II as a means of restoring law and order surrounding land disputes. Delivering his verdict after hearing all sides on the matter, the Asantehene indicated that after serving caution to the chief to desist from his actions, he failed to heed his calls.
Before the demise of Chiamijia, I asked you to release portion of his land, but we however handed it to you. Wasn't Atenehini there before you? I have pardoned you several times because I grew up with you. Due to this, you have taken me for granted. I even requested that you perform traditional rites over the stool you currently occupy at Kote, but you have refused.
Well, so that's the Asantehene Otumfo to the second. Away from that and still staying in the Ashanti region, after extensive reportage by Joy News on the physical abuse of a 9-year-old girl at Gosu in the Ahafo region, she's assessed in full educational scholarship and care. Little Stephanie lost full function of her left hand after her stepmother literally boiled her hands in a rice cooker for taking her 2 Ghana cedis. Following a series of reports by Erastus Asaredonko on her condition, Manso Gold BBN Limited funded a number of surgeries to save the almost deteriorating hand. The company has stepped up support for the girl's education. Erastus Asaredonko visits little Stephanie in school, and here's his report.
Little Stephanie's stepmother allegedly held her hands in boiling water for taking her 2 cedis to buy food. The incident was first reported in March last year. The girl's deteriorating hand was discovered weeks later at their Goso home in their Hafo region. After about 6 months in hospital and a series of surgeries funded by the Mansingold BBN Limited, doctors were able to retain the hand and partial use of it. The mining firm has further responded to the multimedia group's call for help for this child. Stephanie has been placed in the company's flagship model school with full scholarship, including free meals and transportation from her village about 8 miles from Bibiani. Her class teacher, Seth Ochre, says she is improving academically.
When he came, the performance was a little bit down, but now she is progressing.
Headmaster of Mansingold BBN Limited Basic School, William Ba Jansa, admits though the abuse had a psychological effect on her, the school has embraced her.
Initially, she was tense and timid, and we saw that she used to cover her deformed hand with a handkerchief. So I met with my staff and we decided to officially introduce her to the whole school to explain her situation to the school for them to accept her how she is. So we did that, and then the students accepted her, and after that she mingled with them freely.
Sustainability manager of the Mansingold BBN Limited, Emmanuel Edu, speaks of the company's vision for Stephanie.
We have given her full scholarship into our basic school, which is the best school in Western North region and Bibiani, and one of the best in the country. She gets free feeding, she gets free transportation, she gets free school uniform, she gets free school logistics like books, pens and all other materials, including her school uniforms.
Meanwhile, Ellen Sewa, the stepmom accused of abusing her, is being tried by a Goso Circuit Court. Stephanie's biological mother has an update.
Initially, she claimed innocence, but later went for a lawyer and claimed the act was not intentional. She said she was trying to beat the child and she accidentally fell and dipped her hand in hot water. Her lawyers tried to intimidate us in court, but we are not perturbed. We pray for justice.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asarekrom, Bibiani, Ahafo region.
We enter the election headquarters here on Joy News Prime, and with barely 2 weeks to the Super Delegates Congress of the governing New Patriotic Party, Flag-bearer hopeful Francis ADUMOA is calling for a free and fair election to prevent post-election divisions. According to him, the Elections Committee of the party plays a critical role in firming unity in the party by providing a level playing ground for all aspirants. He's, however, indicated that he has no doubt of winning the election to surprise those who consider him an underdog. Samuel Mbura of our political desks puts the spotlight on ADUMOA.
ADUMOA is number 7 on the ballot paper, dubbing himself the Cristiano Ronaldo of the race. Nimo says he's out to prove a point and not an underdog.
I have had the opportunity to go through the exercise in 2014 and out of even 2014 when I was seen to be an unknown person. 2014 I was seen to be an unknown person, and the surprise was that I came in third. So I'm not a new person in the party. I will be seen as the underdog again in this election, and that will be the underdog causing an upset or a surprise at the end of the day.
The former Mampo MP comes into the race with a vision to the forefront, one that stretches beyond party lines. His ultimate goal is to infuse unity into the MPP's core.
So the fundamental requirement is that we need to bring all members of the party together, and that is unity. And where there's unity, then we have the maximum strength.
However,
Mr. Nimo believes that the role of the Elections Committee in shaping the party's cohesion to ensure unity is critical by conducting a free and fair election.
Let us offer an even playing field, characterized by the free nature of it, the fair nature of it, and the transparent nature of the process.
Leveraging his professional prowess as an engineer, Mr. Nimo assessed his unique suitability to lead the country. His technocratic expertise, he argues, equips him with the tools needed to steer the nation effectively.
Having worked as a civil servant also before at the Ministry of Roads and Highways, and having been a member of Parliament, I have enough insight into how central government operates or how the entire governance structure of the country is. I have enough insight.
In 2 weeks, the fate of 5 will be decided among 10 aspirants at the Superdelegates Congress of the MPP. Will the former Mampo MP, who is contesting the race for the second time, make it to the list? Time will decide. Samuel Mbura, Joy News.
Out of the election headquarters now, we'll take a quick break. We return with Showbiz. Please do stay with us on Joy News Prime. And this is Joy News Prime. It's time for Showbiz, your favorite part. I know, my favorite part too. And Rebecca Cheneboa Dako, aka E with Bex Nanaya.
Okay. Have you noticed that we're matching?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we love each other.
Yeah, don't we?
You.
Always.
Do you love Uncle Ato?
I do. You know, I love Uncle Ato.
Recently, I caught up with him, obviously, at Ohimame's sister Hila Experience. He had a powerful ministration.
Yes, as always.
So, I mean, it's been we are in like almost half of the year.
And I think this is about the first time since he lost the wife?
The wife, yeah. Okay. It's actually been a year and over. And he has a lot to give Ghanaians.
It's half of the year. And I wanted to find out from you, how has the year been for you? Musically and everything. And what are your expectations towards this end of the year?
It's been awesome. You know, my wife passed last year. We finished the burial and the funeral in January. But by God's grace, we have moved on, and His grace is moving us forward. God willing, on October 8th, my annual concert is coming on in Tema, and the theme is give thanks to God no matter what, in all things. So we are believing God that He will give us grace to be a blessing to His people, gather people like we see here tonight, and give the worship and the praise to God, and His blessing will be ours.
We're grateful for your time.
That's Uncle Ato right there. Which of his songs can you resonate?
The one you featured with Selena, the Lord who started this would definitely echo, my God who began it. His part always resonates with me, yeah. And his worship, you can't.
You can't. Yeah. Joe Beecham, Pastor Joe Beecham, he was also at Hila Experience.
Yeah.
He had, so what happened was, MFA, he went on stage and he sang the first song. The second one, he was asking for God's, the Pentecost fire.
Okay.
He couldn't stand.
Anointing overflow.
The anointing was, all over. I was even scared doing this interview with him. But I caught up with him, and here's what he's also up to.
Why are we not seeing more of you?
Thank you. The songs were born out of prayer. And the motive behind it was to be a blessing to the world. In fact, I've been ministering a lot in congregations. I've not been on the showbiz stage for quite a long time. But I've been singing in congregations all across the world. I believe that very soon you'll see me again.
You'll be releasing a song soon, any album, any works coming up?
Yes, a lot is going to happen. I'll I'll be knocking at your doors very soon. Because there is something going to happen. And it's going to be massive. We are going to come out with a lot of singles to be a blessing to the nation and the world as well.
Pastor Joe Bichem there will be expecting whatever it is that he's cooking for the gospel music industry. But Michelle Bagona.
So away from Tehillah experience, now I can see that your tempo is going up.
Yeah.
You're in the spirit.
You know,
you're out of the spirit now. Okay, let's go to politics.
She wants to become a politician.
Why?
You know, well, because
there's a lot of money there.
No, it happens to be the best job you can find.
Not media.
You have
not media.
Interviewed lots of politicians. Do you think that it's a lucrative?
They tell me it's not. They say it's not lucrative at all. So I don't know.
Well, Michelle doesn't think the same way.
How long do you see yourself doing music? For how long?
As long as it's paying, you know. I do have goals. That's why I'm going to school now. I have several goals for the future, and it would include doing this, you know, for my 40s, my 50s. Hopefully we can go into politics, you know, one day. So let's see.
Politics?
I can't tell. Yes, definitely.
You have political ambitions.
What am I going to school for? What are we studying law?
Oh.
You know, one, to back my NGO in future, and then two, if there's, you know,
any special reason? Any special reason you want to enter into politics?
Into politics, that's literally the best job in Ghana at the moment.
that's
Let's be as real
that's
as
the
we
reason
can
you want to
be.
be a politician.
The one reason, aside that, you know, it's giving you a certain status in society that opens doors for you that, you know, might not be open to anyone else. So it's for the status, for the opportunity to be able to help other people.
Michelle Bagona, popularly known as Shatta Michi.
She didn't say which party though.
Michi.
Did she say which party?
No, I'm sure by the time she's ready, we would have like other parties and all of that. Maybe you will create a party or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Anything can happen. We're in Ghana.
You never know.
We have Prime Movie Box this evening. Guess what is on?
I can't wait for the movie.
Yeah,
you're telling me about another one that I should watch, so I'm putting this
it's Heart of Stone. We did that last week.
Okay.
And
it's
a
out now.
Very beautiful movie. Gal Gadot, fantastic actress. You want to end the? We have time to sing.
Sing what? Sing what? Let's go.
Hallelujah.
Let's go.
They should log on to myjoyonline.com for all the news. MFR, you've been amazing. We're very grateful to have you here on Joy News. Thank you for having me.
There's more when you log on there. And Beverly Broom is up next with business. And I think we need to say happy anniversary to Musbao. It's a year, exactly a year today at Multimedia Group.
Oh, we love
He's been fantastic.
Love you. And Becca is celebrating her birthday today.
And Nana McBrown's birthday as
Sergio
well.
Manucho.
Oh, it's Sergio Day. What Sergio Day? Okay, so the party is coming up. Let's go.
Party?
Anna, no party.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.